There's a switch inside your body that was never meant to flip more than a few times in your whole life. For most of human history, it almost never did. Now it flips before breakfast. Something changed, and it wasn't you. It's called the fight or flight response. Heart rate spikes, blood floods your muscles, your pupils widen. For a few seconds, you become the fastest, strongest, most alert version of yourself biology can produce. It was built for one thing, a predator, 30 feet away, deciding whether you're dinner. That switch saved your ancestors' lives thousands of times, across hundreds of thousands of years. Today, it flips because of an email, a notification, a text tone, a meeting you're dreading. None of it has teeth, and yet your body responds exactly the way it would to a lion in the grass. That's the part that should stop you. The system hasn't changed, the world around it has. It starts in the amygdala, a small cluster of neurons whose only job is threat detection, firing before you're even aware there's a threat. It signals your hypothalamus, which sends orders to your adrenal glands. Cortisol and adrenaline flood your bloodstream. Your liver dumps sugar for energy. Digestion shuts down. Your body doesn't waste resources on lunch while it thinks it might die. All of that, triggered by a calendar invite. Your amygdala can't tell a predator from a deadline. It evolved for exactly one kind of emergency, physical, immediate, over in minutes. Either you escaped or you didn't. Modern stress doesn't work like that. It doesn't resolve. A difficult boss doesn't vanish after you outrun him, so the switch stays flipped for weeks, running a system built for 60-second emergencies through a threat that lasts a lifetime. In 1936, a scientist named Hans Selye was injecting rats with different substances to study specific reactions. What he found instead, it didn't matter what he injected. Every substance produced the same response. Enlarged adrenal glands, shrunken immune tissue, stomach ulcers. The body wasn't reacting to the substance. It was reacting to the threat of being disturbed at all. He called it general adaptation syndrome. The body has exactly one alarm for danger, and it can't tell a real emergency from a perceived one. Researchers have since found the same pattern in humans. In hunter-gatherer groups, cortisol spikes sharply during a threat, then drops back to baseline within minutes. In modern office workers, it does something else entirely, a low, constant hum that never fully resets, day after day for years. Not a spike, a plateau. Now, a fair skeptic might push back here. Isn't this a little too tidy? Maybe modern anxiety isn't ancient wiring at all, just what happens when you hand a species infinite information and no off switch for its own thoughts. That's fair. But even skeptics of the caveman brain framing agree on one thing. Nobody has found a redesigned threat detection system in modern humans. We changed the world around the machine. We did not change the machine. It might not even be uniquely human. Vervet monkeys, the same ones with 3 distinct predator alarm calls, show nearly the same stress response to social rejection as they do to an actual predator. Your nervous system doesn't have a separate setting for emotionally difficult and physically dangerous. It has one setting, deadlines, debt, group chats, rejection. All of it gets filed under the same ancient category, threat, which means this is bigger than any one person's stress levels. Anxiety and chronic stress-related illness have climbed for decades in industrialized nations, even as physical danger has fallen to historic lows. We are safer than any humans who have ever lived, and more of us feel unsafe than ever before. That's not a contradiction. That's the switch doing exactly what it was built to do in a world it was never built for. Your ancestors' amygdala kept them alive by treating every rustle in the grass like it might be a lion. Yours does the same thing to a text that says, "We need to talk." It isn't broken. It's just old, running the only program it has ever known, because this mismatch doesn't kill anyone before they reproduce. It just makes people miserable slowly for decades. You're not anxious because something's wrong with you. You're anxious because something very old inside you is still on watch, still scanning the grass, still waiting for a lion that stopped showing up 10,000 years ago and never got the message that it can finally stand down.